goal of this video is to show how to create a lesson plan for a chemistry class. So without further ado, let's do it. I'm going to create a new document. When the selections move up, I will do just a normal A4, which works well, but you could pick any kind of version you want to. I will create it. Now what I'm going to do is I have some text already set up. So I'm going to go File, Place, and I'm going to select my lesson plan for the workshop, and I'll go Open, and you can see how the mouse changes. Now how I envision this document is I'll have say a title about right there, and that's got most of it. Up to about right there will be the title. So I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. I'm then going to have a small information section, so probably about that big, something like that. And that's pretty good, but it's actually going to be just up to there. And now for the last phase, I'll select this again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to select basically all of this area right here. And putting this in, you can see it's still kind of messy and there's some parts that are mixed up. So over here on the text frame, you can see you can select the columns. So I'm going to move this to a 2-column system. That's pretty cool. I've got a lot of empty space right there, which I could put a text bar in. I'm just going to move this down a little bit, make it more symmetrical, and that's pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start selecting the different paragraph styles. And if you look at this document, there are some things that are like subheadings, there are headings, all that kind of stuff. First, what I would do is I will select all of the text, and I'll just edit the basic paragraph style by double-clicking on it. Under basic formats, I can change the font. I'm going to go to Euro style for this one. I'm going to go Euro style regular size 12 for the font on this one. And that works pretty well for most of it. I'm now going to create some subheading, specialized versions. I can now select the parts I want. I'm going to create a new style with a little button. It says Paragraph Style 1. Let's call that subheading. And under basic character formats, it's still at Euro style, but I am going to make this now bold, and I'm going to make this a size 13. So notice now that closure is a darker, a little bit different. And if I select the other quote-unquote subheadings, like that one, I can just hit subheading and it will change it right on over, which is pretty cool. This is why InDesign is pretty awesome, actually. Cool. Now, things like procedure, those are, oh, there's one I need to change. Procedure is what I will call a heading, and I'm going to make that a little bit different. So I'm going to hit New Style again. I'll double click on Paragraph Style. I'll call this a regular heading, and it's still your style. I'm going to make it bold, but I want to make this just a little bit bigger. Like, let's try it size 14, for example. So yes, so now that one is a little bit bigger. I also want this to be a heading, not a subheading. Objectives, goals. Looking pretty good. I wish to change the title area up here, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this box more kind of what I want it. I want this to be quite large, kind of going across, and don't worry about this stuff in here, we'll adjust that here a little bit. But what I can do now is select the text, and what the heck, let's make another style. We'll call this one, looks like there's already one there, that's okay. We'll call this one main heading, and under the formats, Euro style is great. Let's make this quite a bit bigger, and you can see it's nice. They have the live option for a live thing. Make sure your preview button is pushed. I'll make this quite large. That's looking pretty cool. Not perfect, but pretty cool. Okay. So this is the title of this plan is The Structure of the Atom Chemical Bonding Lesson Plan. At this point, I am pleased with how the text is looking, at least in a general sense, and I would like to place a picture along the top part right here. So I have one selected already. I'm going to go File, and I'm going to go Place, and I'm going to pick the picture that I wanted. And this is a picture of like an oil spill or something. Anyway, you can see how the screen now changes. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the area that I'd like it to be, and it will be a little on the large side, but that's okay. And I'm going to let go. Now this is a beautiful picture with very intense colors. However, I would like it to be darker at the top and then kind of fade out on the bottom. And InDesign has a wonderful tool. There's two types of these things. I'm going to use the feather tool. And if you select it, I usually start in about the middle, and I push and hold, and I scroll down. And you can see how it changes then the background, so it's not quite as obvious. Looks a little bit more professional in my opinion. Now, with this thing selected, I can click on this layer, and if I control click or right click, I can arrange, and I can send it to the back. And this is how I want. So you can see that the text is there, but obviously it's not real strong right now. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the text itself, and under fill right there, we're going to change that to white or paper, and that looks kind of cool. If I then select out of it and I change to the pointer, I can select just that box right there, and this little cool FX comes up. And I'd kind of like to add a little bit of a drop shadow. So there's lots and lots of controls on this, of course. I'm going to increase the opacity up to 100%. Might make it a little bit different. Maybe this a little bit bigger. And if I preview it, you can tell it's definitely a little easier to see. Let's see if I like that. Object next. Yeah, that's not too bad. Now for this one right here, instead, I'm going to select the fill button. I'm going to fill the background and stuff, so it has that part right there. Now, I don't... Actually, yeah, that's pretty good, actually. So no, I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to say anything. I'll get rid of that line. I'll make this down like that. Yeah, let's kind of do that. Good. Now, one other thing that makes it look kind of nice is I can move this over a little bit here, so it's not quite as thing. And gosh, this is looking actually pretty good. So at this point, if you're happy with how it looks, you can go File, and you can go Export. I want to create a PDF, and I want to create a PDF with a relatively small file size. Under Adobe PDF presets, you'll see there's a smallest file size. You can also do that through the export command. I'm just going to do this one because I just want it to be a small file size. And I'll create it there on my desktop. I'll call it Task. And it gives lots of options. I'm happy just exporting them as is. There's some questions on transparency. I will ignore that as well. And voila, here's my new PDF lesson plan. And it looks pretty cool. There's also ways that you can share this online, stuff like that too. So there's lots of possibilities, and I encourage you to explore it. All right, thank you for watching.